What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing a state of the market and stock picks for December 28th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as we do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. Now, this week is going to be a very low volume week. As you can see, the market really isn't doing a lot. There's still some data that came out today that was really interesting, and again feeds into the thesis that I've had up to this point. The U.S. housing prices decline for fourth month straight. Now, it's something I've noticed personally. I've been looking kind of around the country, and a lot of houses have been over 30 plus years or 30 plus days, excuse me, on the market. And are declining in price. I've seen some 30 to 40K drops in price as people are trying to liquidate their homes. Something also to keep in mind here as well is the U.S. wholesale inventories growth accelerates. So something else we've talked about with destruction demand. A lot of things. So we've seen that in the PCE just the other week, where inflation is creeping up in wholesale, and ultimately understand that now these inventories, they can't get rid of a lot of these inventories. It's becoming a problem with destruction demand. People are again paying for basic necessities. They can't afford to really purchase anything else, and so you're starting to see a lot of price declines, and it's coming a little bit more of a rapid pace than what I'm expecting. Again, I'm kind of aiming for springtime. It may be accelerated here. Again, we're not going to really see a lot going into this week. Again, you might get a little bit more move just because of low volume. We got 3 more days this week before the new year. It could get a move then, but with all that being said, we are pretty much just setting up for next year and what that may look like. And again, I think we're going to get a pretty big event in the beginning of the year that will set the tone for the remainder of the year. So with that being said, again, some good data that came out today, something I've been keeping an eye on, something I suggest you should keep an eye on, that ultimately could play into a very big catalyst. But one thing I'm watching here, something I've been talking about, we've been kind of playing this range, is 3,800 to 3,900. I think potentially if we do run at the end of the week, we could push towards that 3,900. I don't see us breaking through that. But then I think we could sell off again back down to 3,800. And I've talked about earnings cycles up to this point too. So you have to understand, just before an earnings cycle, we do sell. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So even if we have a push, I think it's still temporary before we get some selling and then go, which would essentially make sense that we would push up to 39 by this week into next week, and then potentially start selling back down to 3,800 probably a week prior to bank earnings, and then start ripping back up from that point. Again, we could just chop around here. To be honest, there isn't a lot of news, and things are looking really good. I mean, there is news, a lot more bad news. The problem is this bad news keeps accumulating. The market's becoming numb to bad news, so it has to be like new bad news for it to really tank the market. As of right now, we're not really getting that, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But right now, flat. Again, I think the market's gonna remain flat around here. I won't be surprised if we pump up a little bit, but I think we're going to stay between that 39 and 3,800, at least for the remainder of the week and into the new year, and see where we go from there. But let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, everything's going to be trading sideways right now. Bitcoin going sideways right now. The dollar, again, going sideways. I don't think there's going to be any big move until the new year. And then again, I still feel there's going to be some sort of Christmas rally. How strong that is really depends on the sentiment of the market. Again, the whole the Powell gut punch didn't help us about a week ago, but I think that is really what we're watching here. And again, if we have bad earnings, that's just going to start fueling the fire into a potential cataclysmic event that could occur this year. So we have to see how that does play out. But Tesla, this thing continues to sell and sell and sell at 110.55. This thing is easily going to 100. My buy zone isn't down to the 85. Tesla breaking below 100 is crazy, even though it did do a stock split. But I haven't seen it this low in a long time, even pandemic wise. It's been a while. So, and absolutely no bounce. Again, I think it's greatly part of Elon, his selling. Not only that, but a lot of people losing faith in just Elon. I think once they get things turned around, it's still a great stock, in my opinion. But there's just a lot of drama going on with Elon right now. So, again, watching that as far as the upside, again, you can continue to watch this daily EMA, the 20 EMA, sitting at 158 now. The lower it goes, the more it's going to keep pulling down. You're gonna expect the first time this does retest this, you're gonna get a very hard rejection. So that's kind of what I'm watching on Tesla, is watching that 20 EMA daily. As long as this continues to sell off, once it starts picking up steam to the upside, which we might get for the rally, I think it would be a good entry point for puts. Again, not financial advice. When it does touch that 20 EMA daily, again, the further it pulls away from these EMAs, and then the first retest of that is going to be a very harsh retest. So that's what I'm really watching on Tesla there. Apple, it's holding the zone here. Again, the 130, you don't really want Apple breaking 130. If it does, we're going to be in some trouble. A lot of things are looking really weak and not getting very great bounces, as you can see. We are really trying to hold here. Again, if we do get some sort of Christmas rally, I would expect us to maybe make 140. Again, I don't expect us to break out of the wedge just because of the market sentiment in general. Again, I think that better catalyst is going to play out sooner than we think. Then kind of pick up the pieces from there. BA, again, somehow continuing to push, watching essentially that 200 for a big breakout. Otherwise, you're watching this 179 for breakdown, and then even from 179 you got support at 172. So really you got this zone here. This it hasn't really back tested this and really tested it. It did a little bit here, but looking for a bigger back test here on this. And so again, if BA starts breaking down, it's one of the bigger values that is holding up the market. JPM, again, still floating around the 129. I'm waiting for this thing to break and this thing to fall, which earnings could do that. Earnings could be the hair that breaks the camel's back here and cause this thing to really flush. So really kind of watching that. Goldman Sachs here, again, sitting at support here at the 140, the 344. Again, if we can get a solid candle below us and start selling, looks like there's some sell pressure coming in the financial side. Again, the banks and value are what's holding up. If they give in, you're going to get some heavy sell pressure because there's absolutely no strength in tech right now. So you want the banks, you want value to hold, but just not seeing that. There's a lot of weakness there. So, and then that's pretty much it. We're looking at the bonds as well. If you want to take a glance at these, bonds broke support. Again, the bonds started getting a lot of fuel. Again, with bonds, it needs to be volatility. If there's a lot of volatility, if it starts selling off quickly, that's a problem because it's just going to feel whatever direction the market's going in. Again, it doesn't matter if it's downside or upside. It just depends on what's currently going on. And something I talked about over the weekly updates, that the Chinese yen they've been manipulating, trying to essentially get strength back into the yuan. So to be able to do that, they are manipulating the bonds. And so, again, this could highly manipulate what's going on here as well. So, and then that will bring fuel if we need to either side, whether we choose to or not. So just be mindful of that. But that's pretty much what I got. These videos this week, I think, aren't going to be very long just because of the fact that the volume is low. So unless there's a bigger news catalyst, which I don't expect, I don't really see us moving a lot. Thursday, again, we got initial job claims that might give us a boost during that first morning period. But if you've noticed, and something I've been playing pretty much all throughout the year, is after that first 2 hours, the day after open, that's pretty much your move. And after that, the market really doesn't move. So it's going to continue to do the same thing. I think going into this year, you only got 3 more days left anyway, and then we might actually get some volume and get some direction. Again, things aren't looking great, so any data and where estimations are really going to bring volatility in the market. So if we beat by a lot, again, people are going to think pivot, market could rally. If we miss, that's going to be really bad because things are already in the dirt. So if we even miss even worse than that, expectations or could absolutely get crushed, and it could add to a sell-off more to the downside. Although I think, again, in my opinion, to get where Goldman Sachs is talking about with that 3K, you're going to need this critical or cataclysmic event I've been talking about would have to play out, and it would have to be bring a lot of fear in the market for us to get to those levels. Things aren't great, and that's great, but people are becoming numb to that. So you need a bigger catalyst, whether that's bankruptcies or whatever the case is. But it's interesting. We're seeing a lot of things that we're talking about playing out, and you're seeing that in the data now starting to show. So we wait, we see, we be patient, and then the day will come. So if you made it this far, I do appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a thumbs up. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.